is kind of the finish with this border of this apple, and just showing you the graphics that have the two pieces to trace over. So when you take a look, just give yourself a new layer in order to modify this, and just using the pen tool is the easiest way, and trying to look through the illustration to see if you can create separate paths for both the outer part of the apple, the inner part of the apple, as well as the leaf. And it'll give you a little more options if you try to do something else in the future to keep this. Here's just the stem, and then just make a duplicate to go through it, and then just change the fill and the stroke and the pathfinder to punch that through so you have that section. And this allows you to also change some of the coloring onto this. So in a future graphic you may have that, but there's the initial section. Again, just making it all union together to one piece. So for in the future, if you have it, you can try it. Here's the pen tool on the second design for the border. And again, using the pen tool, clicking and grabbing some of the points, you can multiply it, flip it, or just create this with the direct selection tool and use the path selection to help you get the correct angles. Here you can use the widgets to curve the corners. And for this apple, assuming it's symmetrical, just put a ruler guide in there. And I started it in an off position, so from the path you can take and select 2 points and average them together so they're vertically straight. And again, go ahead and modify the coloring of these pieces. This highlight is just a stroke with a profile, changed white to set off to the side. And again, just making some of the color changes to the opposite corner, making it outline that path to then punch it through to give it a transparent highlight. Just put a gradient to see it. So the text, not too difficult, just using times for the top one. Just go ahead, center it, modify it, put it in the center, change the point size. All the formatting is the same, so you can just Option Shift and drop it down for the address, and just put it above so you can see the writing. And just make sure a paragraph return, so it's all one text block. And from there you can change the size, the scaling, or the leading for the space in between the lines of the text. And the scan may not be perfectly straight, but we can always do that as we go through it, changing this font to like a slab serif where the serifs are much larger. Just copy from their website or retype it. Just scale it, position it, select all of them, and use the Align Vertical tool, and then just group it together. Take the main logo to the space in the top. For the row of apples, you can just place it in there, switch it so you see a stroke, and then Option, Shift key, and duplicate them, and lucked out so that the spacing is the same, but the vertical one I'm off. So I'm just going to take 2 apples, put them together, and do the blend, and modify the blend options and just put the right number. And you can see that they're the same type, and you can modify those, just Option and duplicate that to the top side over. And rather than blend the top, just take the top up to the bottom. And that makes it that easy just to give yourself that initial label size.